I'd like to call the Village of Wolverine Lake regular council meeting for March 8th, 2023 to order. Please stand for the pledge of the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Duff.
Here.
Dumont.
Here.
Jeremini.
Here.
Kevnecki.
Here.
McNutt. Nudrow.
Here.
O'Brien.
Here.
We have heard that Mr. McNutt is going to be a few late tonight. Hopefully we'll show sooner than later, but I know he had prior engagement that he's going to be coming from, so. Maybe. Bingo. I retract what I just said. We can finish roll call now.
I did.
Oh, okay, good.
He said here.
Yep, good deal, thank you.
7:01 to be official.
We'll excuse the tardy.
Thank you.
Any additions to business?
None tonight, thank you.
Okay, great. Approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Duff, second by Dumont. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Correspondence and information. We got a bundle. We got notice from Eagle that somebody over at Shankin at 1547 Shankin is going to be putting in some a swim area, I guess. Just a notice on that. DTE is looking at raising rates, believe it or not. So we got a notice from them. Oakland County having Skywarn training for 3 sessions for the spring, for looking for people to help with rough weather notification. Oakland County Parks and Rec has a release for some scheduling on events, and then we had an email from Mr. Pritchett, a couple of emails regarding chickens. So with that,
Motion to receive and file.
motion received and filed by Duff. Second by Dumont. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And we're at the first call to the public. It's an opportunity for citizens to address council on agenda items only. So, anybody wish to speak? Seeing none?
Does this include chickens?
It's on, technically it's in correspondence, so yeah, we can, sure. If you could step up and state your name and address for record.
Hi, my name is Taylor Pichette. I'm on 758 Lucille. A couple of years ago, we talked about the chickens, and it was turned down, but I feel like, we talked about, having the chickens and having, like, eggs to eat and have readily available in your backyard would have been nice. And then we had the pandemic, and we couldn't actually get to the grocery stores and stuff like that. So I feel like what was theoretical became like a real thing. We didn't have access to any of that thing. Is it going to happen again? Maybe not. But I think that having some kind of like duck or chicken, something that produces eggs, would be nice to have. I can educate my kids on how to take care of animals, how to be self-sufficient, less reliant on, commercial grocery stores and stuff like that, with having some sort of food source that's not reliant on this entire system. So I thought bringing it back up could be more of a thing now, since we've had all this go on in the last couple of years. I know I sent you guys all emails with, the pros and cons and what the benefits of them, so I was hoping we can legitimately talk about it or maybe move it through.
I did have a couple of questions, if I may.
Sure.
How big is your yard?
I have 4 lots.
4 lots.
I have So I have, because like on my street the lots are like 50 feet, 60 feet. I have like quarter acre, just under.
You do?
Yes.
And how do you propose to, were you going to put them in a pen?
So what I was going to do is, I've been expanding my garden. I was going to do an enclosed pen just for them, with housing for them, and they would just be self-contained in the backyard.
Would this include a rooster?
Absolutely not, no, they're noisy. No,
How many chickens were you thinking about?
3, and I think I was more going towards ducks. They're quieter, they still produce just as many eggs, and there's flightless ducks.
They're what?
There's flightless
Oh.
ducks, so they produce just as many eggs, but they're less noisy. And less cleanup. They don't require as much maintenance as like chickens do. So this would more be like 3 would be like having a couple more pets than it would be like a sustainable for like giving out eggs to people. This would just be more for our household.
Okay.
Anybody else? Comments? Questions? I know we talked about it back in 19. I think you came before council in 19. And we've had it a couple of times in the past, and I know planning commission's looked at it. I think as a village, we've looked at it, and previously, we thought that, a lot of the lots are tiny, so it's hard to house chickens in a tiny lot. So I know they're allowed in Commerce Township across the street, but
You have to have, 3/4 of an acre, though?
I'm not sure what the ruling is Commerce.
Yeah. But, I mean, like you said, lots are small, and you can't have a fenced-in area in your backyard if you're on the lake.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I know there were some issues before that were brought up, and,
I feel like we talked about it last time. There was amendments to allow animals that weren't on like the list. Like someone had a monkey and you approved that animal.
it was under a special condition, yeah.
Could that be something? I have a big enough lot. Could I submit it, something like that, to have
What's that?
a couple ducks?
Planning Commission having to review something, an ordinance, so
I mean, I would like this to be something everyone can have, but I understand a lot of people don't have.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's under general fences or planning. I can't remember.
it'd have to be lot dependent, lot size dependent.
Yeah. For zoning as far as that goes, yeah.
That's what it is in Wixom, so
Okay. They're allowed in Wixom?
I think if you have over 7 acres, so.
Yeah, there's a lot. Woodson was 5 or 7 acres. Some of them, I was reading, I think it was Huntington Woods, permits them very restricted, so I think it was the first 6 houses that apply are able to do it, and it's up to 4 hens in the backyard, so they're permitted, they have to be inspected. So there is layers to it that it also limits the total bird population within a community. So there are surrounding
I guess
entities.
that
that
might
are-
be a way to look at it, but, I mean, it can't, I don't think we could do it citywide or village-wide. I think, that, there's just not enough, there's too many houses that have too many small lots that would be obtrusive to neighbors, so I think if we were to be able to look at it, it'd probably be on a case-by-case basis.
There was other places that required approval from your neighbors, so,
And then what happens when neighbors change? I mean,
right, yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that's something we could look at if council wanted to choose to send it back to planning. That might be something to do.
Come to a planning meeting and
Come
bring
to
it
the
up.
next planning meeting, which is the 4th Thursday, so it's, the 28th.
28.
Calendar here.
So I don't remember when the monkey, when was that? That was
Oh,
like,
shoot, that was probably 6, 8 years ago, 10 years ago?
I think it was 15 or 16.
but I thought
Was it
that
that
was
long?
a general, I was trying to find it, but I can't right now.
I thought it was
Exotic
too.
animal.
Huh?
It's
It was the
exotic
exotic
animal.
animal,
Right, but
yeah.
I couldn't remember what part of the code it was in, so I can look at that and see if the situation might fall under that and determine if it's something that would go to planning commission or something that, the administration can look at and present to council.
I think it specifically spells out fowl code.
It does, yeah,
Right.
So,
in the ordinance,
If it, I think that's something that would have to be addressed before you could even.
Yeah, you might need an amendment.
right?
I think I remember that it was something in your general code, but it kind of triggered some type of planning commission process, so.
I think so too, because I remember planning
time
looked
ago.
at it, planning looked at it.
Yeah.
And I believe I looked it up, well, maybe a couple months ago, and it was under general offenses.
Right, yeah, I think I remember.
There's also some issue in terms of vermin and foxes and possums
yeah.
and all the other critters that love to
Coyotes.
come in and
Right.
feed upon the eggs and the animals. So
Yeah.
it's another issue.
Well, I guess maybe we can check into it.
I can just look at it and tell you what your options are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you need an amendment, you know, if you even want to do that, but what you would, if you did, what you would need to do.
Well, I guess that might be something we could look into, as far as, I know we've had a couple people talk about it recently, but I know that when we looked at it previously, it was going to be an issue because of the lot size, and that there were some people that had them, and neighbors were complaining about it, so that's where we kind of got into the situation.
How many
to-
bordering neighbors do you have?
3? Or do you want to count the ones diagonally as well?
That touch your property, yeah.
1, 2, 5.
5. How would all 5 of those feel about it?
When I came to planning commission last time, I asked everybody, and they said they did not have a problem with it as long as it didn't have like roosters. So I could get a signed statement or something like that from them saying that they would be okay with it. I'm willing to follow any rules you guys lay down as far as like offsets and stuff like that. So I plan on doing like a pen and a pen, so like a pen inside my backyard, so 2 layers of
They wouldn't be
fencing.
running free in the backyard.
No, they wouldn't be. They'd be contained. That way, that would extra layer of protection against stuff like that. And then as far as like rats and possums and stuff like that, it's, you know, I kind of looked into it the best that I could, but the cities that have chickens allowed, they don't see any more increase in their infestations than anywhere else, you know, like with the dogs and cats and garbage that we have out. Chickens wasn't like spiking up the vermin.
Your backyard's already fenced in?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I thought you meant a pen and a pen.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Well, I mean, same thing with any other animals. I mean, it's not a problem if people pick up their, you know, dog feces and stuff like that, but there's some people that don't.
Yeah, of course.
So it's just like taking care of your house. I mean, there's respectable people, and there's some people that just don't take care of things, so I guess that's where you have to have enforcement and rules and inspections or whatever, yeah, so, I mean, it's up to council's pleasure, I guess, to decide if we want to go that route or what, so.
I'd like to see
Didn't you
it
say
push it a little further,
he should go to planning?
planning.
Bring it up.
Well, I think we were looking, I believe it's a general offense ordinance.
I think it is, so then it wouldn't go to planning, but I can't remember exactly, but I thought there was some type of like, I don't know
Well, I
if the
think it-
application process came through the administration, or if it triggered some type of planning commission review. It seems like.
I think planning looked at it before.
Because I
I
think
went through planning the
Nathan was
first time.
here.
Yeah.
I went to planning for the first meeting. They looked into it. They, you know, were talking about it, said it was a good idea, but then when they went to go forward, they said that this council would have to approve it before they could go any further.
Right,
It's kinda
well,
like this-
council would end up approving any zoning ordinance anyways from planning.
Right.
So,
So,
I think what had happened is from my understanding and reviewing the minutes, it sounds like planning took a look at it, and then our Sally Ellinger, the planning consultant, did some research on what some other communities' ordinances were and things like that, and brought it back to planning, but the decision at that time was, because it was not in the zoning ordinance, it really wasn't planning
that might have been the way it
commission's
was.
purview.
Yeah, it could have been.
And then it was brought up at a council meeting subsequently, and then that's when council decided at that time that they didn't want to move forward with any changes to the existing ordinances.
Could be. And I remember there was a ZBA case, and that's what ended up shifting it to planning, I think, originally. Somebody had chickens and got tagged by somebody complained about it, and the building official, or ordinance officer came out, and they tried to go to the ZBA on it, and ZBA said it was a planning issue, so they ended up going to planning, so. But, in any case, I guess maybe we can get a ruling from Jennifer,
Yeah, I mean, if it's
wish to
something
go
you
that
want Jennifer and I to look into, we can do that, so.
yes?
Yeah.
I think it would work
I would
out.
like that. I think we can always say no later, but I think, you know,
Look into it
he's
again.
asked politely, and I think we
Look
should
into what
respond.
specifically are we,
Which way to handle it, I guess?
Right, so it'd be, first I need to determine what the process is in place for something like an exotic animal, and then see if that ordinance could be amended to include fowl. And then give you options, like amend the ordinance, you know, what you could do with it. Because I do believe it would need to come to you first. I think it would be premature to send him to planning commission, because it's a code, it's a general code.
General offense.
From what I remember, and
Yep.
for some reason, American legal won't open your code book right now, so I can't look.
I didn't bring mine either.
We'd have to look at that, and then council would need to discuss what the options are.
and then to what end?
Well,
can we
you
get-
decide. I mean, do you want
Decide, but even beyond that, let's say we decide to move forward with changing something, we'd be changing something where we are now on a case-by-case basis deciding whether somebody can or can't have chickens in their yard? Or is that what this would turn into?
I would think that based on the size of the lot.
I would think we'd probably
some other
base it on the
conditions.
size of a lot and
I mean, there
certain
have to be
restrictions. Yeah.
So we're talking about changing the ordinance then?
Well, possibly.
It's like
Like-
looking into it anyways
Yeah.
at this point,
So,
I think.
the way that I recall it worked with the exotic animals is they had to file an application.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think I remember Nathan was the administrator at the time, and we kind of joked because he wears all these hats, and now he's the exotic animal enforcement officer or something. And so the application had to go to him, and then there was this administrative process to review the circumstances, and there was an investigation of the property, and like all the stuff that needed to happen. So I don't know if that type of process could be applicable to this scenario here, but that's what I would need to look at, and then give you some direction. So if you wanted to allow for those types of birds or animals, or even different animals or birds, this is what you would need to do, if you choose to do that.
If it ultimately is going to come back to council, is that council's pleasure to, is that what, does everybody here want chickens? So I remember right when it came through, it wasn't very popular. And
Back in 19, I
I'm
think
neutral,
that was the
I'm on a
case.
lot like
Yeah.
yours. I have 5 bordering neighbors, so I could have chickens, but at the same time, I understand why
There
people
were-
don't want them next
There
door.
were definitely some issues that had.
Yeah,
Right,
there
yeah.
there are, but what I don't want to do is waste our resources, you know, on something that ultimately is going to get turned down anyways, if it's going to be turned down.
Right.
If it's not, then let's move forward. If there's enough people that say, yeah, hey, I want chickens, because we need at least 4 out of 7 of us to,
Mhm.
or is it 5 in that case? I don't know.
4.
4, okay.
Well, I think we have enough consensus here to look into the possibility of it. That's what I'm seeing, I think, at this point. To investigate it.
That's what you guys want to do?
I personally know 2 people with chickens, one being my brother and another one being a very, very good friend. And I've been over there, obviously, over their houses numerous times, and they don't make any noise. My brother actually has both ducks and chickens.
I know where you can get ducks.
They don't want them to fly, they don't want you doing it in other people's yards.
And the friend lives in Wixom, which I was kind of surprised that they could have chickens in the backyard, because their yard's about a third the size of mine, you know. But they do, and the neighbors don't complain. I got a feeling that the city probably doesn't know about it. I didn't give an address. But, you know, I personally, I don't think there's any problem. I don't think we'd want everybody in the village to have chickens in their backyard, but I do understand what he's saying, because it's actually crossed my mind with the prices of everything going up, and now they're wanting to chemically inject the chickens with vaccines and stuff like that, so it's going to create a huge market for the organic chickens. But, I mean, I don't have perfect knowledge of the situation, but I mean, it's something I would entertain. I'm not saying I would say yes to it, but I would certainly listen.
Okay. Well, I think we have enough consensus to move forward and investigate it at this point anyway. So, I guess 5 minutes is up.
We'll look into it.
Okay. So that means I don't need to go to planning or anything yet? I'll just
No,
go back to
no.
next
Just
council
keep
meeting?
in touch with the village.
Okay.
And we've got your number and everything, so.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
and when we're ready to bring the issue back to council for more discussion, we can let you know.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So-
That was my next question. How do I know
Yeah.
when you guys are going to bring it back up or finish the investigation?
Okay.
Does someone reach out to me?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you guys so much.
Great, thank you, Taylor.
Thank you.
Anybody else for first call of the public? Seeing none, we'll move on to consent agenda.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Dumont. Is there anybody else on the other side of the table? Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Dumont,
Yes.
Jermaine,
Yes.
Wozniacki,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Duff.
Yes.
Okay, next item is board appointments. Recommendation council appoint Jim Sparks to the Water Management Board for a term expiring 12/31 of '23. That'd be this year.
Motion?
Mr. Sparks?
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by
Brian?
O'Brien. All right. Any discussion? Anybody? Okay, well, I know, I read Jim's resume, and looks very good.
Yes.
Looks like you got a lot of knowledge on the lake, and sounds like you're really interested in learning about Wolverine Lake. So, I've been on the water board for quite a few years, and it is an interesting board to be on. I think you'd be a great help on that board with your 30 years plus experience. And there's real watershed issues that you've tackled and everything, so with that, it'd be great to be on it. Roll call vote, please.
Jermaine,
Yes.
Wozniacki,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Dumont.
Yes.
Everybody, that was unanimous, so.
If I could, I'll go ahead and administer the oath. Mr. Sparks?
Absolutely, that would be as quick as we can.
Yes. And he'll be good to go for the meeting next week.
Great. Thank you.
Jim? Jim? Yeah, nice to meet you. I need you to stand here at the podium. I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand, please. And if you could repeat after me, I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully perform
and that I will faithfully perform
the duties of
the duties of
the Office of Water Management Board
the Office of Water Management Board
in and for
and for
the Village of Wolverine Lake,
the Village of Wolverine Lake,
County of Oakland,
County of Oakland,
and State of Michigan,
and State of Michigan,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
right.
Thank you.
Sign right there, please. There you go.
And then we've got some background information that we'll gather up and get to you. But,
Sure.
The next water board meeting will be next Wednesday night.
I already got it on the calendar.
Okay, we'll get you an email list so you get all the information.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Once again.
Thanks for stepping up.
Thank you.
Good deal. Okay. Next, we have recommendation updates from Engineer Powell, which is Archer Water Main. Mike was not going to be here.
Mr. Powell went under the knife today, actually. For anybody
surgery.
that didn't know, he was out vacationing, visiting family in Colorado, and he fell while he was skiing, and he broke his right collarbone. So he was supposed to have surgery this past Monday. However, the Surgical Center called them Monday morning and said that they had lost power in the snowstorm, so they had to put the procedure off. They were able to squeeze him out at St. Joe's in Ann Arbor. And the surgery was supposed to be this morning, so I didn't get any update, but we're going to assume that Mike is doing well and he's home recuperating. So that's why he couldn't be here tonight. The recommendation that he had for us was for the payment of Milford Excavating in the amount of $34,688. This is for the prep work and then the installation of the extension of the water main over on Marchar to resolve the issue related to the groundwater contamination we had from the underground storage tank about 10 years ago. This was a little bit more than Mike had originally anticipated the cost was going to be, but there were some problems in getting materials and some delays and some other costs. But the work has been done, the work has been inspected. We eventually were able to get all the permits to connect the homeowners to the water line. They are connected now, as I understand. There was a contractor out and the wells were abandoned at the end of last week, so subject to some leveling and seeding and sodding that we're going to do in the spring when the weather breaks. The work is complete and they're completely good to go with their new water service.
So we need a motion to
Motion to pay,
Milford Excavating,
Milford Excavating. What was the
the
total?
amount of $34,688.80
Sure.
from the Marchar Water Main Extension Fund.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Dumont. Any discussion? And that was probably a little over what we had budgeted, like Mr. Gillum said, right?
Yeah, we have 24,000
Yeah, so,
budgeted, so I'll be bringing you a budget amendment.
sure, okay. With that, roll call vote, please.
Tesnecki?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
Nedrow?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Dumont?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Okay, new business, only public hearings. So, first item on the new business is a request from Police Chief Ellsworth to hire David Juzik and Robert Rocco. Sika?
Asia.
Seisha.
Asia.
As part, Rocco.
Rocco.
As part-time marine officers for the Village of Wolverine Lake. Steve?
I'll go, yeah, go ahead. I was going to say, I'll go first to introduce Officer Grunwald. As you guys know, for the last few years, Officer Grunwald's worked really hard out there, almost every weekend, and we're looking to give him a little relief. It was unfortunate that Jim Pry was not going to be able to work out in the sun anymore. He actually had skin cancer and some other things, but he's still going to stay on with us as an instructor, so we're going to keep his expertise. But we're very happy to be able to add these two, and I'll let Steve give you the info on these guys.
So I've known Robert here. Robert works for the federal courts, was a former Marine deputy with Oakland County, and has more security clearance than I'll ever have. And he's going to be a great asset. And Dave has been my friend and has been an Oakland County deputy for 34 years. And he's been coming over here many, many years on the Marine Patrol. He knows the lake very well. He is a huge asset. I learn from him every time he's here. And I'm so thrilled to have both of these guys here with their experience and knowledge. And they're just going to be a huge addition to the Wolverine Lake Police Department Marine Patrol.
Great. Well, with that,
Make a motion to hire both of them.
Second.
motion by Duff, second by Jeremy. Any discussion? I know, Chief, you said that it's really not going to impact our budget because we're going to split hours and everything.
Correct, yeah. We don't have to add any additional funds. We could, well, with the exception of uniforms and that kind of stuff, but that's small potatoes compared to the abilities that we're going to have now to have these guys with us. So it's going to really help, hopefully, eliminate some of the stress for Steve, so he doesn't have to be here every weekend. And we're really looking forward to these guys coming on board.
Good.
Rocco does smile, believe it or not. There you go. But I've known Dave for quite a few years. He's been out here. I'm excited to see him every time he comes out here, and we appreciate them coming out. But we're really excited to have them on board, and we're going to get them outfitted in the next couple of months and have them out there at the beginning. They're going to also come and help teach, I believe. And it's a good thing. And it's anytime you can split this up so one person isn't burdened as much as Steve has been, and we really do appreciate all of your hard work, Steve. So,
Absolutely.
But
And just for, and God forbid anything ever happened, or,
You go on vacation.
Steve has a stroke.
Yeah, or anything like that, very capable, reliable people that can step right in, and I'm really, again, super excited to have them both here.
And good thing they're experienced, because we have a brand-new boat, brand-new boat lift that they're going to be operating on.
Not yet.
Not
We
yet,
don't have a boat
almost.
lift. That's next on the agenda.
I know. So with that, roll call vote, please.
McNutt?
Yes.
Nedrow?
Yes.
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Duff? Dumont?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Kaznicki?
Yes.
Great.
All right, thank you, guys. Thank you, council.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.
And we're going to get these guys sworn in.
If I could.
Sure. Have at it.
Gentlemen, if I can get you to step over to the podium there, please. Can I ask each of you to raise your right hand, please, and then repeat after me? See, I do solemnly swear that I will support
I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of this state,
the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully perform
and I will faithfully perform
the duties of
the duties of
the office of
the office of
Marine Patrol Officer
Marine Patrol Officer
in and for
in and for
the Village of Wolverine Lake,
the Village of Wolverine Lake,
County of Oakland,
County of Oakland,
and State of Michigan,
State of Michigan,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thanks, sir. Thank you. Thanks, sir. Thanks, sir.
Welcome. Welcome. Thank you.
Gonna sign your life away here, right?
You're right next door.
Good deal. Thanks again. Good to see you again.
Absolutely. Thank you. What's Steve going to do with all his free time now?
Maybe be able to do something on a weekend in the summer.
Maybe, yeah.
Thank you, guys, I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief. You bet.
Okay. That's a good deal.
That's a great deal. I
Yes,
appreciate
it is.
that.
Okay, next on the agenda is request from Police Chief Ellsworth to purchase a new police boat lift from Wilson Marine for the amount not to exceed $20,000.
And the reason I say not to exceed, and I don't believe it's going to be that much, it is going to be in the probably $16,000 range. However, that does not include assembly, which is coming in between $1,500 and $1,800 because it comes in a box. And it's like a very large erector set, and I don't think that I'm going to be capable of doing it. They said 4 people for 6 to 8 hours assembled.
Wow.
So, that being said, this is something we needed. I believe some insurance money will offset some of that also. So I just thought it'd be good to get this on the agenda so we can get it ordered. They say if we order it now, it will be in by May. So we really want to get that going.
Motion for a new boat lift for $20,000.
Not to exceed.
Yeah, no,
I'll
I looked
second
at the smile on his face. That's gonna be 20,000.
So the motion by Dumont,
Second.
second by Duff.
I know it won't be, Chief, but is it a nice lift, what you're looking at?
What I'm looking at from Wilson Marine is very nice. They were very specific with their bid, where some of the other ones were, say, you're going to get the lift, the bunks, the canopy. Wilson Marine was very specific and broke it down really nice. I think you might have that. Did you include that in there?
Yep.
So it was, to me, that said a lot about professionalism and how it's going to, but overall, I really think we're going to be better having it from somebody local that can service it also if needed. But yeah, we believe it's one of the better ones out there. And, funny thing is I came to council 21 years ago for the first boat lift, because we never had a boat lift before. We always left a boat sitting in the water. And when we got the new boat, I thought it'd be good to get a new boat lift. And they agreed. Now here we are 21 years later, and we got a new boat. So we're getting a new boat lift too. It wasn't planned. We were actually going to plan on using that one again, just restringing the cables. But with that windstorm that came through on August 29th, that kind of changed our mind on things. So it wasn't that I feel spoiled right now, but I do feel blessed that we're able to do this, because it's needed, and we're able to do it. So thank you guys very much.
I know the old lift was really tired. I ended up replacing some hardware on it numerous times.
Yeah, on July
Yeah.
2nd until about 12:30 a.m., getting ready for Tiki
That was the
Night.
one, yeah.
That was the one, yeah.
There was previous ones the year before that.
And like you said earlier, it's nice that the additional officers are going to learn on the new gear together.
Yes, yep. And it's nice when you come to work and have nice things. I mean, believe me, it's really nice. So,
Helps, yep.
But thank you.
So with that, roll call vote.
McNutt?
Yes.
Nedrow?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Dumont?
Yes.
Jeremini?
Yes.
Wozniacki?
Yes.
Next, we have request from Police Chief Ellsworth to purchase 4 new Dell desktop computers for the police department in the amount of not to exceed $7,000.
This was part of our ARPA funds that we were going to do. The reason I say not to exceed again is I'm having a really hard time with Dell giving us specific numbers. We have a purchase agreement with Premier Dell, which is under the Oakland County umbrella. We get our computers much, much cheaper than the general public, almost 50% cheaper. We did include in this a conferencing monitor, so we can take Zoom calls up here in court remotely, because we found out through this last time we were borrowing everybody's laptops. And I thought that's, with our training and things that we do now, I think it's necessary for us to have at least one conferencing monitor. So I did only get one conferencing monitor and 3 other monitors for the desktop computers. So the other ones are 6 or 7 years old, and they're getting tired, they're getting full, and it's time for us to move on and get some new equipment. So this was, again, from the ARPA funds.
Motion to approve 4 new Dell desktop computers, not to exceed 7,000.
Second for Jeremini. Motion by Duff, second by Jeremini. Any discussion on that? Roll call, please.
O'Brien?
Yep.
Duff?
Yes.
Yes.
Dumont?
Yes.
Jeremini?
Yes.
Wozniacki?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
Nedrow?
Yes. Next, we have an amendment to the intergovernmental police records management services agreement with the city of Wixom. And this is for management services, right? For records?
Yes, this is for our records. As you know, we, in 2010, I believe, we entered into an agreement with the city of Wixom to be our records manager. That has changed in somewhat detail over the last several years. However, what they do is they will charge, they will raise the percentage, the amount that their employees have received in their raise. So their employees got a 4%, I believe. This is a 4% raise on this.
I think this one, the first one was 3%, I believe.
Oh, the first one is 3%, the next one is 4%.
Lockup's 4%.
Yeah, lockup was 4%. So this one, they went with a 3%, and it's, I believe this is a 1-year contract also. And we're going to work on a multi-year contract, I think, over this next year, see if we can't get something locked in.
Great. Well, this is just an amendment to spring it along for this calendar
For
year.
1 more year.
One more
That's
year, right. So, and I want to thank Mayor Beagle and the rest of the city of Wixom for allowing us to continue like we have with this. I think it's been a good way to go, hasn't it, Chief?
It's actually worked out really well. There's going to be some changes this year. Our longtime records manager over there, Caroline Shave, retired last month, and she's going to be dearly missed. But In true fashion, she trained Frank Hammes, who is the person who took her place, or took her position. She can't be replaced. Took her position, and he seems to be doing a fine job right now. So we're happy with what we have.
Okay.
Do you need a motion for anything?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Motion.
Motion by Duff, second by...
Second.
You just asked a question. Did you motion?
That was the motion.
Okay. Well, we'll give it to Dumont then. We'll second that. You just asked the question. All in favor? Well, let's see, do a roll call vote on that one too, please. Yep, it's money. Yep.
Duff,
Yeah.
Dumont,
Yes.
Jermaine,
Yes.
Wozniacki,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Okay, next one's addendum to the operating agreement. Or no, this is for lockup. Intergovernmental lockup services agreement with City of Wixom. This is the one that went up 4%.
This is the one that went up 4%, and probably part of that reason is the ability to basically lock somebody up anymore is almost gone, unless it's a serious assaultive offense or a drunk driver. We generally don't lock people up anymore. It's just the way the courts have been. Appearance tickets, and then they issue subpoenas or appearance notices, and then they would issue a warrant. So things have really changed in the criminal justice system over the last few years, and the amount of people we physically take into custody and lodge at the City of Wixom is generally going to drop for the next couple of years, I would think. So it has dropped since COVID, and we really haven't picked back up our numbers on that. And it's no fault of the officers. They're out there still working hard. We're just not lodging people for those offenses anymore. So, but overall, we're still very happy with the system we have. We don't have to drive them clear up to Oakland County to lodge somebody. They're somebody local, so it's good.
And again, this is just to extend the agreement for another year, so.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Duff, second by
Second.
Dumont. Any discussion on that? Roll call vote, please.
Dumont,
Yes.
Jermaine,
Yes.
Wozniacki,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Okay, next is the addendum to the operating agreement, the State of Michigan Department of Natural Resources for the operation of the watercraft disinfection station or boat wash at the access site for Wolverine Lake. So this is basically shifting that down the road, right?
This is for a period of 5 years,
5
yes.
years, yep.
Recommendation from the Water Management Board. My understanding, the Water Management Board wants to have some more discussion about if the disinfecting station the boat wash is really being used enough or as much as it could be. But I think my understanding is that just to preserve the option, they want to go ahead and extend the agreement. If it decides that we're not going to move forward with the boat wash, we can always terminate the agreement, but this would at least give us the option.
Motion to approve the agreement.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Jeremy. Any discussion? Like I said, I know I've seen people over there washing boats with it, so.
Yeah, mostly fishermen.
Mostly fishermen do, yeah. So. And those are the ones that really need to, that are jumping from lake to lake anyways, so. With that, just do a roll, or we don't have to do a roll call on this one, I don't think.
No,
right?
no.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries on that. Parks and Rec, recommendation to release budgeted funds for the bunny lunch. Yeah, amount of $700 from budgeted funds.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Jeremy. Any discussion on that?
March 25th.
Roll call, please.
Jermaine,
Yes.
Wozniacki,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Dumont,
Yes.
Okay, item H, second reading and the adoption of the ordinance 161, which is miscellaneous building regulations, part 14, building housing code, which is to deal with the chapter 1479 sump pump and other discharges, to regulate discharges from sump pumps and other sources of in the village of Wolverine Lake. So this is where we had the issue with the people trying to dump water on the access site.
In the outlot next to
Outlot,
it, yes. Yes.
And there's been some other issues around the village in years past.
Motion to amend.
Second.
Motion to adopt.
Adopt.
So, motion by Dumont, second by Duff to adopt. Any discussion? This was introduced last month, so with that, roll call, please.
Kaznecky?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
Medrow?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Dumont?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Okay, next one is introduction and first reading of the ordinance 134-A3, which is to amend Chapter 674, Safety, Sanitation, and Health, Part 6, General Offenses Code of the Code of Ordinances of Wolverine Lake by amending Section 67407, open burning, in order to compart with the regulations established by Commerce Township Fire Department related to opening burning in the village of Wolverine Lake. And essentially, what this is to do is to take our burning ordinance and update it. Years ago, we had to go to Commerce Township to get a permit. Every resident would have to go up there to get a burning permit to have a recreational fire. And that was when leave burning was allowed. We did away with leave burning years ago. And also, in that ordinance, we had some language that you could possibly, a village would allow for structure fire if they wanted to remove a demolished house or whatever. They could have a controlled burn on it, and also prohibited burning of yard waste and building materials. So this kind of gets us back into line where we need to be again with it. We're probably not going to have any controlled burns from residential homes anymore that we would allow, I would not think, so we're just going to get rid of that language, I believe, right, Dave?
Yeah.
And the other thing it does is since the permit's no longer required, we don't have to worry about going for that with the Commerce Fire Department. It did change the size of the fire from what we used to have. We had a 3x3x3 in the previous ordinance, and that's going to be, according to the fire code from Commerce Township, down to 3-foot diameter and a 2-foot high, as I know from reading it. So anything else at this point?
No, and I know we talked today, just, this really is just a cleanup ordinance, if you will. And really, the origin of this is because code enforcement was having an issue with a homeowner who had a contractor that was burning construction debris on site. And in talking with her, she had looked at the ordinance book. She, the homeowner, had looked at the village code, and she was confused because the code said that in order to have a recreational fire of any kind, that you had to have the permit from the Commerce Township Fire Department. But she went and she looked at the Commerce Township Fire Department website, and it said they do not issue permits anymore. So she was confused. So, we worked through those issues. And just to straighten that out, I had talked to Leanne Kimberlin from Jennifer's office at our meeting last month. And while Leanne was in cleaning up that language, she noticed the language in here about the residential burns, which is now prohibited by state law as well. So we're just trying to clean everything up with this. This is first reading. If it's approved tonight, we'll be bringing it back for second reading and adoption next month.
I just had one question, I guess.
Move to introduce.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Dumont, second by Duff. Introduce. I had a question. Remember we had that, the Commerce Fire Department control burn at the corner with the frag bodies. Is this going to create an issue where we can't do something like that as a village?
I don't believe so, no.
I wouldn't think, but I figured that we'd have some way around it. Commerce Fire Department actually handled that anyway, so, just want to make sure that we...
And this just puts us in line with them, correct?
Correct.
Right. Yeah. So, okay.
Dave, has the village office been contacted, I'm sure you must have, with all the damage that these storms have caused with loss of limbs and stuff, either garbage pickup, or can people burn the logs or the branches that have fallen?
To answer your questions kind of one at a time, no, you can't burn
I know you can't.
storm damage that's fell. The only thing you're allowed to burn is seasoned firewood,
Yeah.
and storm damaged wood does not qualify for that. So, no, there are no, quote, recreational fires of that nature that are permitted. In terms of trash pickup, we specifically checked with GFL, with the waste hauler, and as to whether or not residents could start putting out storm damage at the curb for pickup, and they indicated that residents cannot, because landfills aren't able to take the yard waste until starting in early April. So I understand it's a problem for people. I've got a big pile of down branches in my backyard too. But the bottom line is we have to wait until the first pickup in April, which will be Monday, April 3rd, to put any branches or limbs out. And they're still going to have to be cut down to the normal size.
4 foot, nothing bigger than 2 inch, right?
Correct, yeah, they're still going to have to be
Tied
cut
up.
down. You drag a huge limb out to the curb, it's not going to get picked up.
Oh, I know. Is this something in light of the weather that we've had and are going to get again, that maybe we could be sending an email out to the village residents who are on the email list, informing them what they can and cannot do?
Yeah, we could do that, absolutely.
You know, because there's a lot of branches down.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people are frustrated. You know, we were lucky the first time. You know, we lost power, but we didn't. We lost a tree 2 years ago.
Well, I know there was some stuff on social media over the last couple of weeks about, what could be done, and, I think Paige was probably answering some of those questions in the office regarding that.
And we've gotten some calls from residents too, asking what their options were, but
Yeah.
but we can definitely send something out.
And then from that email, it will get to the social media sites and then spread from there. It's the same people that are on our email list tend to be those that are on social media.
And vice versa.
Very well connected.
Yeah, well connected.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So with that, anything else regarding this ordinance, I guess?
I've got nothing else, unless there are any other questions.
Okay. Roll call vote on that one, I guess. Why not?
McNutt,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Dumont,
Yes.
Jermaine,
Yes.
Chesnaki.
Yes.
Okay, item J, which is a village administrator clerk compensation. As the letter says, everybody knows that we gave Dave his performance review, and it was more than satisfactory. So, with that, Bill met and recommended the council that the administrative committee met based on performance review, voted unanimously to recommend council approve a 2% wage increase retroactive January 1, 2023, and a non-pensionable 1% premium pay bonus from American Rescue Plan Act funding, which actually is in line with everything else that the rest of the village employees received the bump the last fiscal year. So
That's correct.
everything's in line, to make that note. So
Motion to approve it.
Second.
motion by Dumont, second by Duff. Any discussion? Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Roll call vote on that, please.
Nedrow,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Dumont,
Yes.
Jermaine,
Yes.
Chesnaki.
Yes.
McNutt.
Yes.
Okay, we are at the second call of public, which is supposed to take place around 9 p.m., which we're an hour and 7 minutes miraculously early. Anybody like to speak regarding anything?
I'd just like to say sorry for being late.
Okay, if you could step up to the mic and state your name and address.
I apologize for being late. I'm Julia with Powell Engineering. If you guys had any,
Sorry about that, Julie.
if you had any questions,
Mr. Gillen pretty much took care of everything.
I appreciate
And
it.
we
Again,
approved everything
apologize.
already, so
Great.
how's
Just
Mike
wanted to
doing?
give the option.
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
He's at home resting.
Yeah, good. Everything went well.
Yes.
Super. Good. So he won't be skiing for a while then. Okay, anybody else in the public? Seeing none. We'll bypass the second call. And item L, Administrator Gillum requests council to move into closed session immediately after item 17 to discuss collective bargaining strategy pursuant to MCL 15.268, Chapter 1, Subchapter C.
Motion.
Motion by Duff.
Second.
That was a tie. We'll give it to Jeremini this time. Any discussion on that? Roll call, please.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Dumont,
Yes.
Jeremini,
Yes.
Kaznecki,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
Medrow.
Yes. Set topics for the March 22nd work session. Anybody want to be here?
Motion to forego.
Motion by Duff to forego the 22nd work session. Second by Dumont, miraculously. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. I don't think we have any pending business, do we?
We do not, thank you.
Update from Police Chief Ellsworth.
Well, on behalf of Officer Grunwald, thank you for the additional help. Officers Juzik and Aisha will be a great asset to the department. We're looking forward to having them on. Number two, we also welcomed another new member to our department family this week. Officer Kristen Skotsky and her husband Spencer welcomed a new baby girl, Olivia Rose, on Sunday. Weighed in at 6 pounds, 11 ounces, and both mom and baby are doing fine. So
Great.
we are very excited about that. We won't be seeing her for a while, but that's all right. They're both home and healthy. So other than that, I apologize for not being here in February. I was at my Chiefs conference, and with mixed results. We didn't really find anything that we couldn't live without, so I'm not coming to you for anything else right now. So, but I do appreciate your vote of confidence and with the computers and the bolt lift. I think it's going to be very nice, and it's very nice to be able to have officers that appreciate this kind of stuff, and I know they do. And, you know, we're moving forward, and we have a lot of nice new equipment. We certainly appreciate that. We recognize that, so thank you.
Thank you. Update from Treasurer Hanson.
Yes, we closed out our 2022 tax year on February 28th, so it was your last day to pay taxes, and we are preparing our delinquent rolls and all the items the county needs so that we can collect on those. And we're gearing up for our new budget, and the last meeting we just had was really helpful for me with that, so thank you very much. And welcome the new officers, and congratulations to the new baby, and Officer Skotsky.
Okay, Administrator Gillum.
Yeah, again, our congratulations to Spencer and Kristen, and of course, it's understood that as soon as the weather breaks and mom's out with the baby, that she has to bring the baby from the village hall to meet us all in person. So, best wishes to Mike Powell for a speedy recovery. Also to our former councilman Ed Sinkowitz, who had surgery on one of his shoulders a couple weeks ago. Same day that Councilman Dumont had some surgery on his knee. I see he's doing pretty well, though.
Yeah.
So, we're happy to have the 2 new Marine officers on board as well. We do have dates that are set for the boater safety classes this year. The first is going to be Chief, I think, April 15th. 15th. And then I believe the second is May 13th, but don't quote me on the second.
I believe that was what it was, I believe.
May 13th. May 13th. And we have information on the village website, but we are not handling the registration. The DNR the state has come in and basically trumped us on this, so registration has to be through their website. So, again, information is on the village website.
Limited 30 per day, I believe, right?
Correct.
30 people.
Yeah, first come, first served. So if you're interested in getting in one of the classes, you should get signed up as quickly as you can.
Is the age still 12? Yeah, that hasn't changed.
And then just to a little bit of a shout out or acknowledgement to some of the employees for some of the extra hard work that they did. The 4 guys in the DPW really worked their tails off on Friday night with the snowstorm. Originally, the 3 that were on call came in, but it became very apparent very quickly that they're going to need to have all hands on deck. So the 4th employee was called in. I know that I had one complaint that came in about the way that the snow was handled, but other than that, the calls that have come into the village hall and the emails have all been very appreciative. And I know the guys worked a long night. They worked very hard, and they really did a good job getting the roads cleared for us. So, and the other person I want to acknowledge is our treasurer, Jennifer Hansen. This is a payroll week here for the village, and she devoted pretty much her entire day yesterday to unwinding a mess over at the bank to make sure that payroll was going to go out. She spent literally the whole day. She took a trip over to the branch. She had several phone calls to their service centers. I think she ended up talking to somebody in India finally to get the whole thing straightened out. But Jennifer was pulling her hair out yesterday, but I speak on behalf of all the employees that we appreciate the hard work. And again, everybody will be happy to have that money in their bank accounts on Thursday. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. With that, council comments. To your meeting, I guess.
Welcome to our new officers and the new baby. It's exciting on both fronts there. And yeah, thanks to the DPW, because that snow was awful. And that was the heaviest stuff I've encountered in years. And bunny luncheons on the 25th of March from 12 to 2. If there's room available, probably can call in now, and because it goes fast.
Okay. Mr. McNutt.
I'd like to welcome new officers and congratulations to Officer Statsky. And also acknowledge the DPW with how they cleared the roads. The acquaintance from another community, and they drove into our community and said, "How come my roads aren't clear?" So after all that, so we appreciate their hard work and set the clocks ahead. Spring forward.
Yep. It's about time.
Bill?
Yeah, best wishes to Mr. Powell for a speedy recovery, and congrats to the Skotsky family. Congratulations on your new officers, and until next meeting, I hope everybody has a safe month.
Yeah, I want to say the same thing about DPW. If you drive from our community to any neighboring community, no offense, but ours is better. It's true. I mean, our streets they're salted and cleared off very quickly. You must dispatch them in advance somehow. So great. That's it.
Mark?
Congrats on the new officer. Congratulations to the Stotsky family for the baby, and kudos to the DPW.
Yeah. Well, even though I wasn't here on Friday, I was up north skiing, and they didn't get any snow up there.
You wouldn't want to ski on this.
So, yeah, I heard that it was quite the storm, and I'm really happy that we do have a great DPW. I know all those years that I was working into Dearborn and driving into work every day, our roads were always cleared before all the other roads. I mean, it was really good. So, I also want to welcome Jim Sparks, who's not here anymore, to the Water Management Board, and to Dave and Rocco, your new police officers. That'll be nice. Just break, you know. So, and congrats on the new baby.
Well, ditto for everybody else, and everybody else said there already. And again, DPW did a bang-up job. I couldn't believe how much the pile of snow I saw at the end of the court when I looked out the window Saturday morning. And it was like, wow. But yeah, it was heavy, wet stuff, and I went over and tried to do my in-laws drive over the other side of the lake, and I couldn't believe how well the roads were taken care of for that magnitude. So it looks like they might have another chance this weekend, right? Friday? Yeah. So I hope this will be the last one for a while, and hopefully we don't have the power outages like we have the last couple of weeks here either. I know the public launch wire's still down over there yet.
Is it?
Yeah.
Cameras are still on.
Yeah. Yeah, well, lights out too, so the wire's hanging out. I'm hoping it's not live. I mean, it's still yellow taped, and people walk dogs through there all the time. But hopefully that'll be fixed pretty soon. I mean, there's still people out of power, I think, or pretty close to being all hooked up, but,
I will call again to make sure.
yeah, so. With that,
Motion to move into closed session?
motion to move into closed session. And, oh, we already had a motion. Yep, we already had a motion, so we're all set. So with that, we'll adjourn upstairs and,
And there'll be no business after the closed session.
yep, so we'll just be coming out and adjourning, so.